Welcome. It's the FIH Hockey Women's World Cup show, and I've got a galaxy of stars with me today. We've got Berta Banastra from Spain, who is a legend with the Spanish national side, but for this purposes, this is actually director of the tournament over in Terrassa. We've also got Jill Boone, star of the Belgium team, who'll be giving us her opinion on the matches that have taken place so far. We've got Kelly Hudson from New Zealand, who has been blowing a whistle at the event, and we'll be hearing her side of things. And we've got Dan Strange, well known to everybody as one of the voices of hockey. So welcome one and all to the show today. Before we start, well, to kick off with, Berta, I'd just like to come to you first. The tournament is underway. There's been lots of exciting matches already. For you, what's it been like, those opening few days of the tournament? How have things been going?
I have to say the last week before the tournament, I was quite stressed. I think I lost a bit of kilos. But now that it all started, the open ceremony was amazing. I was so proud about showing, which is our culture, and how many we were excited to start this tournament. And I think now that the games started already, I think I feel so emotional to watch my ex-colleagues play, also friends that I have in other teams, and to see that everything is going well and that they are saying me that they are enjoying it and it's all going well. I think it's amazing, no, to see this hockey party, and to feel it from the public. I think it's amazing. So emotional about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing videos on Instagram and Twitter of Terrassa and how it's coming alive, and it's really exciting. I mean, Kelly, you were video umpire for the very first match. What was the atmosphere like, both in the stadium and as the teams went out on the pitch for that very first game?
Yeah, the stadium was actually just electric. They've got the music going, really just hyping up the whole atmosphere, and it really felt like you were somewhere very special. The stadium itself it's kind of steeped in history, and coming from New Zealand, I think the 92 Olympics was the first Olympics New Zealand women were at, so some history there, and there's some people I know at home who were at that tournament, so to be there and just see that field and the massive stands around the outside, and for sure in that first game there was a pretty good little crowd, and we've seen that build over the last few days as well. So even from that first game, you had the feeling something really special was happening, and an awesome vibe around the place. And honestly, when the players ran out for that first game, it was very special. It's given me goosebumps just remembering it. And I think every game's going to have a bit of a feeling like that too. So no, awesome to be a part of it. And a great view from the video box as well, up in the top of the stand there. So yeah, it's a nice spot to watch the game from.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, Jill, have you had any feedback from the Belgium squad about, what it's like and what the atmosphere is like? Because this is a special tournament for Belgium as well, considering they missed out on the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah. It happens a couple of times that we had to play a tournament just after a disappointment. No, it's fine. But as you are not the host and you play in country, usually you play in an empty stadium, which is a bit the case. But I'm sure the atmosphere will build on towards the tournament, and it may be better also for them that there is not too many people in the beginning, but family and friends are there, and when you have a little Belgian crowd, you can hear them. So I think it's great, and they're really enjoying it.
Yeah, I must admit, I love the Belgian supporters, particularly the drummers. Dan, at the same time, you've been over in the Netherlands watching there. What's the atmosphere like there?
Pretty unbelievable. It was rocking yesterday, and not just for Germany, Netherlands. It was rocking for England, India. The crowd just seemed to come alive. Whoever's playing seemed to really enjoy it, and it's just a really natural feeling there as well. There's families, there's kids walking into the stadiums with their hockey sticks ready to run out into the spare pitches behind the main stand, which is just a great sight. And yeah, the way that they set it up out in the Wagner is just really quite special.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly watching on TV, the whole thing looks really quite spectacular. I'll just rattle through the scores we've had so far, and then we'll talk about some of those games and pick a little bit of that out. So Spain kicked things off. They beat Canada 4-1, as we heard. New Zealand drew 2-2 with China. Then Germany beat Chile 4-1. Argentina beat Korea 4-0. The Netherlands beat Ireland 5-1. Australia then beat Japan 2-0. Belgium won over South Africa 4-1. There was a draw between England and India 1-1. Korea beat Canada in a really quite exciting 3-2 match. Germany then lost to the Netherlands 1-3. And Argentina beat Spain 4-1. So if we come to Jill first, actually, let's talk about Belgium and their match. They were looking pretty sharp, weren't they? And penalty corners in particular seemed to be quite key to the Belgian performance.
Yeah, and I think to every team really, if you've seen the game between Argentina and Spain, the difference is made also on corners, and I'm really happy that they're scoring it. It's been a working point in the last few years, and but also I think the South African goalkeeper did an amazing game. So it took a bit of time to score that first goal, sorry. But once it came in and they scored the second one, and then they were a bit more in pace. But I think they did a good start, and especially like you mentioned on corners was key. But again, I think the first runner this tournament are doing pretty an amazing job in lots of games.
Yeah, and that is such a brave role to take, isn't it? Particularly when you've got sort of Borzolani firing those balls into the top of the circle. And Charlotte Engelbert, I mean, she's going to be a real star of the game, isn't she? She looked on fire, I thought.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I play with her in club since it's been 4 years now, and I watch her play since she's 15, and she came to racing, and it's just that every time she has the ball, she training during the season and now at international level, she's just so good and getting better minute after minute. I think she had a rough start of the game, and then just during the game for the first World Cup first game, she just scores 2 goals, and it just looks so easy. She's so fast, and I mean, we're gonna hear from her like in this tournament, but she's only 21, so it's unreal what she's doing now, and the future looks bright for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Bertha, if we come to you, your team, Spain. I mean, I'm diving about a little bit here, but we'll talk through most of the teams. But Spain, they had a great start where they got off to a 4-0 lead against Canada in the first game. There didn't seem to be any signs of nerves amongst the team, but then it just sort of died down a little bit in the second half. Can you talk us through that match a little bit?
Yeah, I think they were sharp at the beginning. They were not stressed as you would think, no, for a first game of a World Cup. Also, we have new players, so I thought maybe they are nervous, but I talked with them after the game and I was like, girls, you were amazing. And then it's true that the second half, they lack a bit of, I don't know, I would say tension, maybe. But I also think that maybe they were also thinking about the rest of the tournament. I don't know, but I think they were sharp also because they had a lot of occasions, but just that the ball didn't come in. I was watching statistics with the coach and some players, and it's the same occasions, the first half and the second half. So statistically, it was the same. It just the ball didn't go in. So at the end, you say, well, maybe it's the first look you have at the game. It's the thing that you keep in mind, and then when you see it afterwards, it's a completely different game. So I think.
Yeah, I mean, you've also got to pay credit to the Canadian defence because they obviously got the measure of what was happening and put in a good performance there. Dan, did you watch that game? Have you got any thoughts on it?
The opening Spain game?
Yeah.
I completely agree with Berta. I thought it was professional in the second half and excellent in the first. To come out and stamp your authority, my thoughts on it were, having covered them against the USA, and obviously Canada have some similarities to the USA, although I think are in a far better position than the US are at the moment in terms of how their team seems to be structured. Spain had to take their chances there because otherwise they could have been under threat. And actually, I thought they came out really well. And then in the second half, they didn't need to go and push themselves too much. And they probably had one on the fact they had Argentina to come up next, which you've got to take care of your legs. As Berta said, you've got to get through the tournament, in one piece. So I thought it was really professional. A really good opening match.
Yeah, 4-1 was a really popular score in all those opening games. We had that match was 4-1. Germany beat Chile 4-1. Belgium beat South Africa 4-1. Then, Berta, we just stick with you for a minute. Spain, then their second match against Argentina, lost 4-1. I mean, I think we've probably all got an opinion on Argentina and how they're playing, but they look pretty good, didn't they?
Yeah, I think Argentina, they have a lot of potential. They are so physical, technical. They have this passion. And I think it's a difficult team to play. And having all the stadium, all the emotions, when you have a young team, sometimes you have to control those emotions, because if not, you can have what Spain had yesterday. I think the first objective was to not concede PC, and it was an objective accomplished, I think. Argentina, they are aggressive. So if they have a PC, they will score it. At least if they have 20, they will score 10, I think. So yeah, I think the nerves were there yesterday. And I don't know. Also, when you score the 3-1, I think you have to keep the result and then to go to score one more, and then you concede another goal. So I don't know. I cannot explain what happened there, but I think it was a lot of nervous and stress. As I talk with them, it's a bit like that.
Yeah, I mean, Spain did very, very well, because I mean, it was kept at 0-0 for a long, long time in that in the first part of the match. So they could be proud of that. We'll just move on. Kelly, New Zealand, they obviously haven't been on the international scene apart from against Australia for quite a while, and we didn't know what to expect from them. And they came in and they drew 2-2 with China. Again, I mean, PCs were a big part of that game. But what were your thoughts? I know you're an umpire, but as a New Zealander, what were your thoughts on the New Zealand performance and how they adapted to the conditions?
Yeah, I think I can really only talk quite generally about this. And after the Tokyo Olympics, there are a number of players retiring and taking a bit of a break. And so I think coming into this event, it's the first major tournament for a lot of the players who are in this team. And then I know New Zealand are not isolated in that case, but certainly exposure to big tournaments and also big stadiums and big arenas is it's not usual. And so I think for a lot of those players, they would have been kind of battling a little bit with their nerves. And as Berta said, I think a lot of those players did play with a bit of freedom and with nothing to lose. So it's an exciting start for the team. And I'm sure that, over the coming games, they'll continue to grow and build upon what I think that they should see as an encouraging start. It's a very challenging pool, and as we've seen with all of the games so far, even the games with 2 or 3 goals, there's still a 1 in the column, which shows teams will never give up. And that's what we can expect at a World Cup, and that's what we'll expect from every single game. It's very difficult to choose going into a match who might be the favourite in a number of these games. Even from form from previous games, we've seen teams totally change structure and how they approach matches. So it's exciting for us from an umpiring team perspective. We've got to prepare as best as we can and adapt to every game, and we'll continue to do that, and as will the teams, of course. But I think they should be encouraged. Most teams have had a pretty good start, even those teams who have taken losses. So.
Yeah. How easy has it been for you? Because I mean, you also have been off the international stage. I know you had a couple of Pro League matches sort of in the build-up, but have you eased back into it happily?
Yeah, it's brilliant. There's always challenges, but when you're implanted into this team environment again, you're back with your mates from all around the world, and although we're disconnected by distance, we're not disconnected with our access to games. So it's similar to the preparation for Tokyo, how that was for many people. We're watching videos, we're kind of staying across what's happening in Pro League as build up, and then when we get our chance on the field, it's trying to just slot back in as quickly as possible. So really enjoying it. Definitely a different challenge with our umpiring team being split across two venues, but we're trying to stay as connected as we can, and I think we're doing pretty well at that so far. So, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for that. China, we have sort of been learning what China's all about. If I come to, I'll ask Dan and Jill on this, because I know you've both been watching China. Dan, first of all, what did you think of the China performance, and what will Alison Annan take away from that 2-2 draw that she probably would have liked to have won?
I think you've just summed it up with the last comment. I think she'll be frustrated because I think she'll take a lot from it. I have to admit, I only saw the second half of the match, so I didn't actually see how New Zealand or China went in first. But to me, watching just the second half of the match, I couldn't believe China didn't win the match. That said, I thought it showed the character of, as Kelly said, this new New Zealand team, that they actually came away from it with a point. I think the biggest thing Alison will have taken away will be looking back at the defending, because the way Olivia Merry managed to step in front pretty much unchallenged, Kelly's probably going to want to close their ears here, but you would probably want the defender to maybe make a little bit more physical contact, even if it gives away a penalty corner or something, and not allow her just free access to score the goal. I thought China created a lot, and I genuinely think they were unlucky not to come away with more than they did. Again, their penalty corners look good, but Gu Bingfeng just needs to really probably get into a flow and start throwing. I think Alison will take a lot from it. I wonder whether actually them drawing that first game will help her sort of motivate them, even not motivate them because they'll be motivated, but kind of push them even further forward. But I do think that defence was a concern because of how easy it was for Mary to step across in front of her player.
Yeah, I mean, Jill, we're seeing China in transition, and over the years you'll have played China a lot of times. Are we seeing a transition to an attacking style of hockey, but perhaps the defence is being a little bit compromised in that? You know, are we too much of a transition really for China to be effective this time around?
No, I think they're growing on the right path, and I think, yeah, you know, attackers like Mary, you think that she's just stepping forward and score a goal, but she's so good at it because she's just so good at it that you think you have her, you think you defend her, and then she's just scoring that goal. And she has that style a bit of Kim Lammers back in the days also, where you had two defenders, and in the end she would step in front and just scores it. And that's just a world-class striker, and she did what she had to do to bring back the point, and I think that was really interesting. But for China, I think, yeah, they're playing more offensively, more technically also, and I think it's really nice to see. And I think the nerves of the first game did a lot in that game, a lot of unforced errors from both the team, but I think it was just so great to see New Zealand back on world stage again, and I think they will grow in the tournament, and to take back 1 point against China, I think they did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, the other two teams in Belgium's pool, Jill, are Australia and Japan. What did you think? Did you get to see that match?
Yeah, I wanted to see it also. Yeah, there was a crazy game. I think it went from back and forth all game long, and a lot of I think a lot of mistakes in the beginning, like missed stops and stuff like that. But you still hear me?
There, Jill? I can hear you.
A lot of emphasis and really physical, like not really thinking through, but really going forward. And I think the goal was coming, and you can feel it. And I was quite impressed with Australia finding the marks in the beginning, but yeah, in the end, I think they deserve to score those goals.
Yeah, I mean, a comment was made. Japan, sometimes they play great hockey. They've got great uniforms, I've got to say, but just sometimes they're just a little bit too nice. Did you feel that was that something that you would agree with? Yeah, well, I've played with Shiori also for 2 years, and they're just really nice. And I think that's not something really they have to change. I think this tournament in particular, like physical play, has played a big role, and you could see it in the game against Argentina and Spain, for example. There was a lot of physical hockey, and what I think the refs let it play, which I like it also. And yeah, Japan is maybe not their biggest strength, but I think, yeah, I wouldn't change them either. I think they have a really nice way to play, and it's really nice to see them play too. And I think they will grow in the tournament too.
So the first game doesn't say much about the rest of the tournament. So it's going to be an exciting pool, I think, especially with Belgium, Australia coming up, and Belgium's Japan. We will know a bit more after Wednesday.
Yes, absolutely. Wednesday, big day. Kelly, just I'm sort of not lumping you into a general Oceania thing here, but your opinions of Australia. You know, they're pretty much in the same situation as New Zealand in that they're coming into a wider international competition after a while away. What were your thoughts on the Australian performance?
Yeah, I was actually umpiring that game, and I agree with what Jill said in general terms, but I just have to say it was really dogged defence by Japan and in particular penalty corner defence. And look, I mean, Australia, my comments before about New Zealand, Australia are in the same boat. They had a number of retirements after Tokyo, and they have some really exciting new players in. So perhaps another period of kind of settling and also just playing with freedom and trying something new. So it was a thrilling game to be a part of, end to end, and a really great contest. Both teams play genuinely good team hockey. They really look to move the ball and connect well together. So yeah, awesome to be a part of. And another one, you step onto the field, you don't know which way it's going to go, who's going to win, and you just try and adapt the best you can to what's in front of you. It was exciting to be a part of, and yeah, really looking forward to seeing what is coming up in the next passage of the tournament for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of the moments, and call me a sentimental idiot, but seeing Chile coming out onto the pitch, singing their national anthem, seeing their head coach with tears pouring down his face. I mean, Berta, come to you on that one. Chile's performance and their appearance here, it's making the World Cup special, isn't it?
Yeah, I think a team who hasn't been in a World Cup, you can see at their faces that they are enjoying it every second, just all the travel they do till Amsterdam. I think they are all emotional about that, and you can feel it also in the field. I mean, they will have all the attitude they have to have at the pitch. They are a good team for me. They will compete well, and they will arrive as far as they can in the tournament. But I think they will enjoy every moment of the competition, even if they are 5-1. I think they will enjoy it anyways, and they will do as best as they can because they have good players, and I think they can surprise sometimes in different games. So.
I agree with you. I mean, they've got some really good players. They've got players who've got experience of playing in Europe with some of the big clubs as well. They scored against Germany. You know, it's not as if they weren't being competitive. So, but did I don't know if you all saw. I mean, Sergio Vigil is a fantastic head coach. But did you see the dramatic moment when he tripped over as he was rushing to his team talk? I thought it was classy and elegant the way he recovered from that. Very, very good. Dan. Ireland. Let's talk about Ireland, because they, a bit like Chile this time around, we were sort of wondering what they would bring to this tournament. What did you think of Ireland and the way they set up against the Netherlands?
Well, just to say what they'll bring to this tournament, the social media around the Irish sporting anthem. I mean, you said about Chile and the passion, that it just made your spine tingle. And that's kind of what they feed off. I thought I didn't look at it and go, yeah, Ireland are gonna win against the Netherlands. I didn't really see how they could win against the Netherlands, but really they needed to get themselves into the tournament in a way that they could springboard off of, and sort of not come, if you're going to lose, which it was relatively likely there when you look at the form, you kind of don't want to come away completely demoralised. And I think that was the important thing for them, that they didn't come away completely demoralised. They set themselves up professionally. They got on with the job well. Obviously, they played the Netherlands in the last World Cup final. So they had experience, but it's also a squad that's moved on since then. So I think it was it probably wasn't as good a result or performance as they could have hoped for. They would have wanted to be a bit closer, but they also put the foundations in place for the rest of the tournament, because I think they'll have looked at it and gone, we're probably going to lose against the Netherlands, but there are other teams in this group we can go and beat. And looking at Germany yesterday and how they started the game, if Ireland take the game to them, they could unsettle Germany if they catch them off guard. So I think it was about sort of setting the foundations and not becoming demoralised by playing the host first up.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm really conscious that we're sort of coming towards the end of time, and there are many teams we haven't talked about. I had a little bit of feedback on social media that I wasn't mentioning the Netherlands enough. So I'm going to mention the Netherlands now. Jill, they looked really quite awesome, didn't they, in both of their games? What were your feelings about the Netherlands and how they're setting out their stall? They're coming at it full pelt, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like they play with 12 all the time. They're passing the ball around and it's just so good. And then you hear people say, yeah, but we were close. And you're like, yeah, not really. They're just one step ahead. And I think I really love to see them playing. And you have younger players that are there and also the most experienced player, to see Eva de Goede there and Liedewij Wilton that is playing amazingly. And Marloes Ketels that is not only scoring yesterday, but defending really well. It's just, she's going to be missed a lot, but the young guards are coming too, and Freke Moes and Yibi Jansen and girls like that are just taking over. And Laura Nuning is one of my favorites. It's probably one of the best players I've played with in my career, and to see her now there and playing with that much class. And I think they're doing great, and I don't think they've peaked yet. I don't think they're playing their best game yet. So I can't wait to see them in the final phases of the league and playing teams as Argentina, for example. Not too soon, I hope, but it's gonna be awesome. It's an amazing event for women's hockey, I think.
I mean, one of the scary things is somebody, in fact, it was Alison Annan, said that she didn't think that players such as Frederica Matla had quite peaked yet. And yet there's Matla putting the ball in at will. If she's going to peak, that's going to be something. Here's a question for you. Who would you rather face at a penalty corner? Agustin Gozolani, Frederica Matla, or Stephanie van der Boer? Jill, I'll ask you that one. Who would you rather be running out to?
I'm line stop normally, so it's an impossible question. It's like a bit suicidal also to try to answer. And also Van der Boer has like a fake flat slab that's so hard. So I would say Gonzalani, because it's going quite high, so I risk less of my life. Maybe I would not stop it, but I may not die, at least.
That's a very good answer. Very good answer. Let's just finish with a quick look at some of the matches that are coming up. So, let's just very, very quickly talk about India and England. Dan, what did you think of that game? That was, I think that had a draw written all over it, didn't it?
I predicted a draw going in. It finished 1-1. I actually thought India played well generally. I didn't think Naya had as big a say on the game as I expected her to. Savita was fantastic, and Vandana Kataria, the finish there under that pressure, with the way it came back off hinge so fast, gave no one any chance to. Very, very impressive. What impressed me with England was their counter-attacking was very, very good. They can improve sort of the second half. They can improve. Izzy Petter's finish was sublime. It was absolutely fantastic the way she took the goal. I think both teams will go away from it feeling fairly happy. I think they'll both go away going, okay, well, we didn't take 3 points, but it's against a team we know are fairly even with us. And I think there's improvements to be made in front of goal. But if you haven't seen it, Gurjit's drag flick, I think the post's still rattling at the Wagner at the moment. It was rocketing towards a goal. So a lot to take in a positive way for both teams, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that pool is fascinating. Every team on 1 point. That's there's a lot to come.
The goalkeeping quality in that pool is just second to none. All four keepers, the number one keepers in that pool, outstanding. Really are.
Yeah. What do you reckon? China versus India. That's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Very much so.
In fact, I think they're all going to be interesting games. But let's finish off. Next match for Spain is Korea. Has that got 3 points written all over it for Spain, or are they going to come up against a Korean defensive masterclass?
I think you will never win a game before playing it. But no, I think Korea is doing pretty well. They are so structured, and I think they play as machines. They stop every ball, every bouncing ball is in their stick, like if it was stick to it. And I think it will be a pretty hard game. But we like those kind of teams. They are so durable because we are skillful. So I think we can do a really nice game against Korea. And if those balls are coming in, if we score our PCs, I think we will have pre-match occasions in that game. So we just have to take confidence in that and to try to take points in that game. Yeah, I'm pretty confident with the girls.
I mean, and also the home advantage is going to be great for you as well, isn't it? Yeah, there's going to be a crowd there, really, really urging Spain on. Kelly, dare I ask you about England? Dare I ask you about England and New Zealand?
Yeah, I mean, look, as you see, I think as everyone said, that pool, you can just cast a net over them. I think Dan's comment about the goalkeeping was a really, really good one. So your guess is as good as mine.
There's a fence and she's sitting on it. Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay, we've come to the end of time. We're going to be rejoining the show on the 8th of July. So everybody do tune in for that. But I'd just like to thank all of you for your contributions today. It's great to chat to you. Kelly, what's your next match?
Yep, I think I'm on a reserve tomorrow, so we have a good sideline view for that, and yeah, we're rolling through another couple of really, really good contests here tomorrow. So it's all hands on deck, it really is, and with four officials on every game, so every role of those four is pretty important. So yeah, just looking forward to more awesome hockey, and as I said at the start, you know, every game, the teams just will not give up. So yeah, looking forward to seeing more of that.
Brilliant job. And obviously belated happy birthday to you as well, Kelly, for the other day. Jill, hey, in this, just wrapping up again, what matches are you looking forward to in the next couple of days? What's really going to get you hooked on the screen?
Well, now I cannot think about anything else about the Belgium game, I think. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be a big test, and I think the girls are like in a good vibe, and I hope they're doing well.
Brilliant. Dan, what are you looking forward to?
I've got India-China 2-1 to India, and I think that'll be an amazing game. The way both teams are playing at the moment, I think that'll be a really good game. And just after that, the Wagner, I think New Zealand, England, again, fascinating. I've got England just to pip it, just to take the 3 points, but very, very close indeed. I think those two games tomorrow are just going to be the ones to watch for me on the 5th of July, you know, the ones to keep your eye on. But there's so much action in both venues. It really is amazing.
It really is. And Berta, what's the next few hours or the next couple of days hold for you? Is it lots of socialising and cheering your team on?
I think I'm pretty excited for every game. I would be all the day watching hockey because we are seeing the best hockey ever. And yeah, but I'm so excited to see Belgium, Australia tomorrow. And then up next, the other game that I would say is Korea, Spain, obviously. But I don't know. If I have to choose, I wouldn't know what game to choose because I love to see the girls playing in every game.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some fantastic matches already, and there's so much to look forward to. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for your time. Have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you for the coming shows. Thank you very much indeed.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.